All right, I think we're live, and so let's get started. Welcome to this video, and so the title said, is I was feeling a little bit get stuck in the last 2 days in working on the Landoss, and finally I figured it out, and so it's something that interesting to share, and it's also about design and architecture. And so without further ado, let's get into it. I hope this stream still is going fine. All right, let me get it. All right. Yeah, so what happened is in the last video, you might have seen I'm showing this code, which is the skill class modules, and inside there you have this generate card methods, and I have that to think about, okay, that's how I generate the cards, and then I play around with it and add the player in, and then also add the number of cards that I'm going to generate and doing all that. But when I'm writing this code, I get stuck a lot. I think I feel something is wrong, and also I can't seem to figure out the right approach in writing it. So you see that I wrote a bunch of code over here. It generates some card sheets and so on, and then it generates different kind of card. By itself, if you think about look at it just from the code perspective, it seems okay, but the overall it turns out the overall idea is wrong, and the reason it is wrong, the reason of that, well, this I should say, the idea is wrong, and that is the reason that I got stuck, right? It's something that's subconscious. As you're writing a lot of code and you work on it, and when you are having some design issues, at least for myself, a lot of time I just feel something weird and then I cannot move forward. And it happens to other projects, and as I work on some open source project, I get stuck in those cases. And a lot of time to get myself unstuck is I have to step back and look at the overall design, or just trying to do something else, right? That's why in the yesterday I did the videos about the architecture, so that I can fresh out my mind a little bit. And then also I was start working on some of these utility functions, so that I get kind of get my mind cleared. And of course at the same time I know I'm going to use this, and some of the code I am using it, but it doesn't really follow the TTD per se, because yes, I'm writing it and also adding a little bit of test, but I wasn't needed right there. The only function that I actually need was this MacAccum function, which I was using it over here, and then also the find function, right? The find function and MacAccum function. So what really happened is that this function actually shouldn't be here. and that's what I'm got stuck with. Because what happened is this is talking about generate cards, right? And in the question or the things that is missing is that what is the purpose? When are you generating the cards, right? When I'm adding this code, what I was trying to do is I try to start the exploration, right? You have a character and you have some equipments, and I start working on it. So it's actually in this code called explorations, and then new explorations. And so I in the new exploration I load players, and that is clear, and then I create an exploration object. And in there it have different stage. You have the player, and then that's where it's generating the cards, and have HP and AP. That's detail. So from here I get into this code and say, okay, let's get the equipments and then start generate the card. And since the card when generating the cards, I need to know which skill that I want to work on. So that's why, you know, which kind of card that I'm going to generate based on the skill. So then I delegate the code to that skill module, and that's where the problem starts, right? Because when I'm in this skill class or skill modules, I'm thinking about, okay, this is a skill class, and then I get the player, and then immediately subconsciously I already start feeling the disconnect, because skill is not something that can, you know, generate itself. There's some logic behind what I'm doing, which is generating cards. And skill, you know, is something passive, is some data. The name itself suggests it is some kind of data, some kind of entity that I work on. So by putting this in this module, my mind already starts splitting and start getting that disconnect, and that's why I get stuck. What I really want is having that card generation, you know, all the logic that I want, because I want to generate card based on some kind of logic, and that logic really should go in here. Because one of the things that I want to do, is to say I want to say how many cards that I'm going to generate, and then also I want to have more control on what card I'm going to generate. Say for example, in the skills, there are, let me put it to the side. There are different kind of skills, right? Over here you have the martial arts, we have weapon masteries and alchemy and magics. And when I'm generating it, I keep telling myself, hey, at the beginning or when we generate, I want to have some base card that will be generated so that the player would not get stuck. Because if I just based on some random generator to decide which card will be generated, I could end up with a deck of cards that doesn't make much sense, and the user can't do anything. For example, the cards will include some supporting cards, but you know, what if you generate randomly and end up you get 10 cards and all 10 cards are supporting cards, and you don't have attack, you don't have defense, and you know, you can't do anything, right? So that's why, you know, dedicating that logic into this skill module is the wrong approach, right? Because when you can see that in this line, I'm asking this skill to generate a card for me, then immediately I lost that control. I can't say, I can tell that, okay, inside within this 10 card, I want certain of them will be always be attack cards, certain of them will be defense card, right? Because when I'm in this module, in this skill, I have to think generically. I had a hard time to put in the code and saying that, okay, I'm generating some card and then I need to have 5 attacks, have at least 3 attack cards and 3 defense cards. The rest can be supportive or can be other things, right? Because over here, the name of the module, the skill itself, keep pulling me back and say, hey, you really shouldn't add that kind of logic here. But it was something subconscious, and I had a hard time to add that code in, and that's why it gets stuck. So, well, that's what happened, right? And that's the another sharing an experience to share. And so to fix it, we're going to move that over here. And once I go back to this code over here, then it immediately becomes clear that, hey, here is that's where I can have that control, right? So also, what I'm going to do is something completely different than the code that is showing over here. Is that, okay, I got some equipment. So let's take a look at what the equipment, if there are any equipments, right? So, and by the way, over here, I can really start doing some TDD, because these are all pure classes, pure functions, right? So let's create a exploration spec. All right. So with that exploration spec, I can say, describe, let's see, what should I describe? So this is well, just say new function, and then it and I typically what I want is not putting any name first, because until I'm the kind of person that until I start have my fingers on the code, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to test or how should I describe the test. I have some basic idea, but putting it in words, for me is more beneficial to just start with the code. So I have this, and then I need to get the import the code in. So require game exploration. Okay, so now I have this exploration new, and put in some context, right? Let's put in it like this first. So then let's just call it E, the exploration. And what I'm expecting, right? It will have the player, all that, I don't mind, and it will. The first one will be battle, because right now, I just focus on battle, so that will always be the case. And but in reality, it will be different things, and going to add that later, right? So I'm going to just say cards, right? And so get the cards. And then I want to say there will be 10 cards when exploration starts. Okay, So then over here, I just want to assert equal and 10 cards. Okay, so like that. So let me run it, and that's one error. Okay, so attempt to index a null value, because over here it have this save data, right? So I'm going to mock it, save data equals to the object that has a load player, which is a function that return a player object. But at this point, I don't care. I don't need it to have anything. So with that, then it goes in, goes further, and then now here goes into the player. Of course, I need to actually build that up, right? Because it's in this code. But however, what I can do for now is, just cast equals 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? I don't even need the other things, right? That would pass the test supposedly, but it didn't. Line 7. What? Calculate AP? Oh, because that. Okay, so then yes, I need to have some basic information. So have a stats, and the stats will contain vitality equals to, let's say, equal to 3. I misspelled it. Vitality, and then I know it also needs that. So intelligence, let's say also 3. Yeah, let's make this 5, to make it a little bit different. So yep, so it's got this, and then it called update exploration. So this will actually save the data. So update exploration equals to a function that doesn't just do nothing, right? I don't care. All right, so that's good. And but what I get is pass in is now expected 10, and that's because I did not return. So return cards. Okay, and then over here I also need to change it to number of cards. So now the test passed. Yes, right. Of course, not doing anything yet, but at least I have a test in there. So now the next things, let's see. Well, we'll have at least let's say 3 attack cards. Okay, so in this case, my mind is clearer on what exactly I want, so that's why I can add that in, and that's likely the simplest case that I can think of. Of course, that can be wrong, but at least it's something that I know what I want, right? So over here, I get this, and let's keep it like that first, and then well, let's just cards, right? And new, and actually, yeah, let's add one more layer and say describe check cards. Then it's a function and n right there. Okay, and then to move this in here. Does it work? Does it work? Oh, maybe I have one more. Much. Okay, so that will work. And let me just run it. It should still pass. No, because here is not, but it's okay. So let's comment it out for a moment. Make sure that it's good. Yes, it is. And then over here, the result of the other test is actually bothering me. So let me turn it off first, right? Because the thing is, this test is it was not complete. You know, it generate 4 attack and defense card. You know, okay. So which is a test that I actually put in here. So I have 10 cards, and over there I was saying 4, but now, you know, if I'm going to generate 10 card, 3 card to, well, actually, yeah, to start, make it a little bit easier to make sure that you're able to turn around. 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2. You start with 4 cards, and yeah, 4 cards is fine. Yeah, keep it like that. So I get the cards here, and then I can say assert. There's one thing I don't get over here is one thing I didn't get is the auto completion. So what I want is testing this, is saying equal, okay, free, and then this I want to say table utils dot filter, and then over here I say cards, C, and cards, and return card dot is attack, is attack. I think the name looks fine. So so that it will return true when it is an attack card, right? So well, actually not filter. I want to say accumulate. Yeah, it's filter and then count the number like that, where we can do it like that. So that should work. And of course, I need to add the dependencies in. So local table utils equals to require game table utils, and then also I want to get the card, require game card. Okay, so if I run it, of course it would fail, right? And why this is still oh, this the other guy hinting. I still haven't cleaned it up yet, so come on, clean, go away. I don't want you right now. All right, so get this away, like here, and now I need to go to the cards. All right, so in the cards I haven't really fixed it or improved it based on the new well, the overall design that I have, but it's okay, I can add it along the way. And so is attack card, right? So then want to say the card, how to determine the card is attack, right? So that would be something interesting to think about. One thing is as long as the attack is greater than 0, then I consider that as attack card, right? It can be a mix and can be other things, but as long as it is something have some power, can make some damage, I don't care, right? And I think that would be a good thing to decide, right? So therefore you can see that instead of having a card that you have a type in something, I want the shape of the data or the shape of the card to determine its characteristics, right? Instead of saying it, okay, this is an attack card, this is, you know, this is a support card and things like that, right? Of course, for support card, it's a little bit different. Maybe have some specific effect and or attribute, something like that. But for attack, this should be straightforward. Since I'm over here, the another thing I know is need to add is if it is a defense card, right? Defense card, and then that will just return card dot defense is greater than 0. And then also since the way I describe it is attack greater than 0, I would say actually can change it to can attack and can defense, right? So that gives a better naming instead of just its attack or its defense, because its attack and its defense or its support still, you know, actually suggests there's a type, but there's none. Although you can think about, consider that as kind of an encapsulation, but you know, why having that encapsulation while you can describe it in, you know, with more clarity, right? So that's what we're going to do. And so this is called can attack, and so here can attack. All right, so saving both and then running it, we have this information, this problem, which we will need to fix. Of course, we can just copy it over, but now I think it is time to do some refactoring, right? So let's say I'm attempt to say base player, but I actually have a new player object over here, and I have that when I was working on this guy, and which allows me to get this player. And so instead of repeating this, of course I can do that. I'm going to create a new file called, like, say, player utils. I can call it player, but it could be a bit confusing. I can say stop player or mock player. That might work too, but it could be a little bit limiting. So since these are test code, I'm comfortable to, you know, loosen it up a bit using the util or things, and for the time being, and depends on, you know, as I work on it, if I find out, oh, I actually need a lot of variation and stuff, and then I can always refactor it, right? The utils, yes, it is a kind of a bucket name, and so the naming is not that great, but in this case, I would say it's okay. So let's do that. So say player utils. Let's just call it util, just like other code that I have here. So return utils, and then I can define function and utils dot for this player util. I want to get new base. Let's say get base player, right, without anything. And I want to say file utils equals to require. I want the file util is the gateways file utils. Right, so I'm kind of using the namesake this gateway as packages, or level of organization. So getting this, and then I can do this, right? And also copy this over. Oh, by the way, in Solar 2D have a JSON module, but I can't find a good JSON module in base Lua. There are some around, but the one that I found that works is this one. And one good thing is the way it models the code, is the same as the one that used by Solar 2D. So it's also JSON dot decode, JSON dot encode. Some other one using a method using colon, and some other have different input params and things like that. But so I find this one is useful. And the reason I do this is because, right now we're doing tests, right? We're doing pure logic. So the JSON module provided by Solar 2D is not available here, right? When I'm writing tests and running tests. So that's why I need this one. So we get that, and just return it. Okay, so that should be good. And so over here, I will load player, and then this will return player utils dot get base player. Okay, so this will be local player utils equals to require, and then spec game player utils. All right, so then this is something small enough that I can just paste over here. All right, so some stupid thing happened. Local, why I have an extra local? Okay, so like that, and then here there is a filter function, which do I have it? Do I have it? Do I have it? Do I have it? I have find, I have dump, I have map, accumulate, and I don't have filter. So let's add that in. Function utils filter. And so there's a function I pass in, and then a table. Right, so the code is very simple. Is of course I can do this. If it's true, then I do that. But I feel like using reduce. I feel like using reduce. So utils dot reduce, and then this will be a function, and the entry and then the initial value is an object and table. All right, so let me make sure that is the case. Yeah, the init value is right in the middle. So here I can just return. Okay, so I get the entry. I want to say if function entry, I'm probably not going to pass in anything more than that, and I would say, okay, this is actually P and E, and P dot no, table insert P and add E into it. Okay, and then return P. Okay, I'm writing JavaScript over here. So then N. All right, like that. Right, so let me run again. So index a number, attempt to index a number value, local cards. What did I get over here? Oh, because it's not an object, right? Because the C, what I have here is an array. Well, it's just that, right? That's definitely actually not what I want. I want is a bunch of cards, right? It's just a bunch of cards. So now let's do that, right? So now I can do something, but at the same time, yeah, actually I should start doing something. So how do I generate cards and make sure that they are attack cards, right? So what I need to do is it will get a little bit complicated because there are player have different equipments and so on. But let's forget about, well, actually I need to consider it quickly down the road. But for now, let's forget about equipment first. Let's keep it simple. There's nothing. And so what I need is to get all of the attack cards that I can generate and generate 3 out of them. So the first thing I need to do over here is to figure out well, the attack card possibilities. So to do that, I need to say, well, let's keep the compiler happy. I need to say, I need to get the player. The player have skills, and then have. So let's open the skill.lure over here. So it have all the skills and have these levels, right? And so if the level is 0, then the player have not acquired that skill yet, so there's no card will be generated from those skills. And if there's more than 1, then it will generate it. And the thing I want is really create a table that contains the possibility of which card it will generate. So need to think about that a little bit. It's kind of like a weighted table. So, but in either way, that is something either can be, well, you can think of it, it can go to either the player class or player modules, or goes to the skill module, or maybe something else, right? But for now, that is something feels more like to be fit into the skill module. So attack cards I'm calling them draw map. I don't know what else I can call them, so that's what I'm calling them. So skills and create well, attack draw map and pass the player in there. Okay, so I'm not passing the context in at the moment because I have not see that I need it yet, but actually I will. But for now, let's do that. Create attack draw map, pass in the player. Oh, what am I doing? It's no local. And then, so over here, I can do something similar to that. So no, actually it's not that. I want to actually get the cards. I want to actually get the cards. So maybe I'm doing it a little bit too soon, but for now, I can keep on working it from here. So what I mean is, why I'm saying is a little bit too soon is because I would need to get data from here. So definitely I need the context, and it may be in the wrong place. But what I'm going to do is say let's get one first, right? So we have this, we have the martial art level, and then from there I want to get that, right? I actually want that. So yeah, I can kind of calling this function. I already have that function over there. So get martial right, and then from there I have to pass that in. So these will be the draw map. Okay, and then at the end I will return the draw map. Right. So I can do it like this, and but I actually don't have to. I can do something like that. Meaning, let's minimize this. Well, that's okay. Martial art. Let's just keep it like that. It's actually is a little bit dumb over here. You can see that it have some thing, but the thing is I need to pass this in, right? So yeah, actually let me flip this code around. This is not a good code. So generator, let's just call card draw map dot get and martial arts. right? And then what we pass in, and we can pass this in, or we can for simplicity we can pass the player in and have the context player and martial arts, right? And then let's do one first. I need to do some transformation to the draw map as I go. So let's do this, and then local card draw map equals an object, and then have a function card draw map get, and it receive the context, receive the player, and receive the skill, right? And then well, let's fix this first. Let's pass the context in, and so here I can pass the context in. And the thing is, I may end up need to refactor this, but right now is okay. Let's keep going like that. And so what I need is doing this. However, now this is skill, and then here is just skill, and so from there I get the level, right? So over here I really need the level, so I doing this, so I pass the player, by passing the player in, then I have all the information. Of course I can pass the skills set in, but you know, conceptually it is easier to understand what kind of object, you know, keep the number of objects you need to manage in your mind to a small numbers, and player is a clear entity that you can put in your mind, but the skills of a player, it get a little bit more murky. And so that's why, although you know you have to go in several level deep to get the information you want, but I think it's worth it essentially, because we are not making calls after call after call, which the rule is called the law of delimiter, and that's could be a bad thing, but that's not what we're doing here. So over here we're passing that in and get the information, and so this get the card map, and this is the one that I was commenting out. And so to understand what exactly that I get is I can print this out. Print table dump. Okay, and return. Let's return an empty object. Don't care. So with that, let's run it. Oh, I haven't saved this yet. Right, so attempt to index a yes, because now I need the game data, and the game data is needed for this low skill level. So over here in the test, if I look back here, there is a default game data gateway. Right, that's this. It's kind of like a default mocks that I wrote. So yeah, so that's another thing. Even though you get stuck as you progress forward, well, you're able to reuse some of the code that you were having. So here, let's put in the game data equals to default game data gateway, and so that will do something. It didn't have the skill level, so I'm going to add that in. So here is one case that it might make more sense to do inheritance. But at the same time, it is also not, because during it depends on the situation, right? So what I'm doing here is essentially recreating a mock or creating a stub for the game data gateway over here. So I have a bunch of functions over here, and then I have to repeat the same thing. So I can theoretically, make this a class, and then that one inherited from this class. But the problem is that then if I have not stopped that particular function or particular method in that case, then I will keep calling the real code, and the test will fail. Right, it will fail, and the only way for me to get through it is to implement the mock. So then what's the benefit I get from doing that inheritance? I'm not getting much. Right, so that's why I'm not doing that. Okay, so and of course, unless is contains some logic in that, right? So that's also something that I need to think about over here. So you continuously jiggle around multiple things. For one thing is, I'm thinking about, okay, I have this function, load skill level, right? And then it's simple enough to put in here to saying that, okay, this read the file, and I've changed the system a little bit so that I'm breaking up the different skills into different JSON object or different data essentially, because originally I have all of the skills in one place, but I'm thinking of, well, when I grow, having more detail and more levels for the data, then this file will become big and it could be a issue. So I'm breaking it up to smaller pieces, and so that's what you see over here. Well, it's gone, but it's here, right? So the problem, there's a small problem with this code, right? The problem is this, right? So here, having that lines, meaning it is not a pure data access function already. It's doing some logic. This is a logic, right? You pass the level in, it will only return the level, that information back to you. It might make sense. It might make sense because in certain case, say for example, it is a right now I'm implementing it by reading a file, right? In this case, I'm not saving much. I still need to read the whole file, parse it using JSON decode, and then get the version. But in other case, say I'm getting this information from from the server, right? If I'm doing that, then able to specify the level in there might make sense, right? It will reduce the number of the traffic needed, and also well, it makes it more concise, right? The less information, or the more precise the information that you want, and it return back to you, the better, right? However, this is still a bad design, because the reason is, first of all, this is about game data, and this is a clear indication of overthinking, because if I'm thinking about it is a server scenario and get the information, do I really want to make a call to get that information, right? Instead of doing that, I might delegate the whole logic over there and, hey, I'm starting a new exploration. Give me the result, right? Give me the result. So I delegate that to this a centralized server, and I can actually have more control, right? So that's a typical way of how you separate the, define the physical boundary between your code and between the server. So because in that case, you delegate all those code to the server, the benefit is more secure, and you have more control, and essentially all the data live inside the server, and the server can scale and can make sure that no one's trying to hack it. Of course, if you want to hack, there's always some way to do that, but you're delegating your control over there and do things. So the boundary, the physical boundary, where you define that, is not really at this level, right? Because this is about gateway, about getting data, and so therefore this is actually not correct, right? So what I really want is just a similar function, but instead of doing that, is just go ahead and return, right? So in that case, I don't need the level, and then also just low skill, right? That is what I want. So I want that, and then here, so I can low skill, and so I don't need to pass that in, and then this will be skill, well, skill and level equals to level. Like that. Of course, this is what should I call this? Low skill. And then this is called the skill type, and let's just call the skill map, right? Skill let's just call it skill map for now. There got to be a better way. If anyone of you think about something, let me know. So that is the skill map, and then from there we got the skill level. All right, so that is what I really want, right? On that. So then now here, it will be the same call, and it is just, instead of getting that from the document directory, which is a solo 2D thing, for now I'm just getting it from here, right? From my local folder, right? So with that, this will go deeper, although there is a system. I saved it already. Oh, yeah. I don't need that over here, right? So like that. Okay, so this skill game data, what did I got? Oh, context game data. I passed it in. What else did I miss? So exploration, context, skill, creative skill, context, passing that in, getting this context, getting this, that in there. So we are supposed to be good. And game data, default game data gateway, which is good. What did I miss? Did I misspell something? Spec gateways, default game data, that looks good to me. That looks good to me. Okay. So let's pipe in and do something. So, well, let's just print context first. Hold on. Line 30. Line 13. Okay, because it's this one is that I didn't put it in. Okay, that make more sense, right? But both of this failed because, well, I removed that, right? Make it to the end. So okay. Oh, card lure, card. I don't have a card. Yeah, I guess I'm comparing that. Right, I'm comparing that. So that is not what I want. So what I have over here now is getting this printed because, you know, I know this is failing. I just want to use it as kind of like debug to go in and see what do I get here. So here I got that, right? So this is an array, an array of 2 indexes, right? The first one, the first one is the percentage, and then the second one is actually the index. So let me actually make one fix, right? Because this v.id it really shouldn't be doing that. So let's just double check, because I think it's the JSON parse thing. Table dump skill level at attack cards. Yep, the ID is returned as 1.0, although in the JSON I define this is just a 1. So that's how the JSON decode reading that information. And so I can make this a string, right? And is no, actually no, I cannot make it a string because if not, all the indexing will be wrong. And I don't think this matters. I don't think this matters, but it's just kind of bothering me. It's kind of bothering me. So let's see if I can fix it. Let's see if I can fix it. So let me get this skills map. So this I can do a table map, but it's so problematic. It's just doesn't make too much sense. It's okay. So let me see if I can I can live with it. Although, you know, this still bothers me, but if I'm able to reference it, I'm not going to complain. Oh, okay, hold on. maybe it's not because of that. Maybe it's because of this. You know, it is a floating point number. Well, everything is a floating point number, but that's okay. That's okay. So with that, that's one. Back to here. That is what I want. That it was what I want. So what I'm going to do here is this is returning the attack cards, and then I'm passing that in here. I need to pass that in here. So martial arts and let's say just be you know uncivil about it. Card type. Okay, like that, and just return this. I think that would be sufficient. So there's a total, and then I just in here I just interested in the draw map. Well, actually, let me do it in here. So T draw map, and then return draw map, and then so in this function is that. Okay, so I have removed all the logs. Okay, and then here I can print. Well, I already printed over here. So now let's go on and do the same thing for others, right? Say weapon mastery, and the thing is that that will be null. The level will be 0, and the skill map of 0 will be null. So I need to do a check. So now I start getting deeper into the logic, in the unit code, unit test, and so I feel like I should start pulling this out so that I can make the unit test over there, right? So, and since the video, this video have been going on for a while now, more than an hour, so I will stop here for today. So to recap, we talk. So let's recap. Okay, so in this video we covered that what happened, why I get stuck, and the reason is the higher level architecture, the design, not architecture this time, the design was not right, and then that causing the roadblock or mind block for myself to move forward, right? And the way to resolve that is to step back and then take a look at the higher overview, and it indicates the importance of having the right name of your class and putting it in the right place. Because when you put the things in the right place, your mind starts to flow, right? Because the word that's written on the screen that you're reading, keep feeding you back and try to confine your mind into that scope, right? So if you do not have a good name to your module, to your class, to your function, it will affect you, right? And to me, it affect me tremendously. So that's what happened, right? So then we go in to change this, fix that problem, and so the juice start flowing again, and we start from here, and then we do some basic TDD, right? And start from a high level test, kind of an end-to-end test with the ability to do mock, and From there, we just start pumping it down, and you can see it start flowing, the juice start flowing again, and the ideas start coming in. So all right, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.